So hello, welcome to Online Study for You, a complete placement solution. So my name is Nitin Kumar, and in this video, I am going to discuss with you a coding question which were asked in Accenture examination on 28th of October 2023. Okay, so in this video, we are going to discuss both the problem. So now, without wasting any time, let's directly move to the first problem. Okay, so here is the first problem. You can see the screenshot of that problem. Now, let's read this problem once. Okay, so the problem statement is sum of leaders in of an array. Okay, sum of leaders of an array. Let me take it now. So here the problem states that we have to implement a function which were given in the compiler of in the examination, that is sum of leaders, where the argument is passed as array and size of the array. Okay, now the statements written here: the function accept a positive integer array, name of the array is giving ARR, okay, and size and as its argument. Now implement the function to find, okay, just implement the function to find the leaders in the array and return their sum. So we have to find the leaders in the array and add them up and return the sum up. Okay, so this is the task. Now what is leader? The definition of leaders is given here. So an element is leader in the array if it is greater than all the elements to its right side. So this is the definition of leader. The element is called as leader if it is greater than all the element to its right side. So this is right side. So if element is greater than all the element to its right side, then we can say that element to be a leader. Okay, now the rightmost element is always a leader. So here a statement is given that the rightmost element in the array is always a leader. I will tell you why. Okay, now the assumptions what is given is here array contains distinct elements. So we don't have to worry about that if two elements are equals, then what we have to do here, it is written that all the elements of the array are distinct. So all the elements are different. Now note is given if ARR, or you can say array, is empty or none. In case of Python, you can say array is none. Then we have to return -1. Okay. So if our array is empty, that means no element is present, then we simply have to return -1. And output lies within the integer range. Okay. So whatever the output may come, it will always lie in the range of the integer data type. Okay. So we don't have to worry about that also overflow. Okay. Now, so these are the two conditions. Now here one example is given. So let's take that example first. So this example you can see here it written as 52, 66, 64, 36, 45, 24, and 32. Now what we have to do, we have to find these are the element of the array. We have to find all the elements which are leaders in the array, and then we add them up and return the sum. So how we find the leaders? We have to, the definition of the leader is it should be the largest element to all elements on its right. Okay. So, and one assumption is given that the last element or the rightmost element, which is this, is always a leader. Why? Because you can see there is no element present right to it because it is a rightmost element in the array. So there is no element present to rights of it. So it should be the largest element, or you can say the leader right now. Okay. So this will be always included in my answer. So I don't have to check for this only. Okay. So this will be included. So 32 will be included as my leader. Now, is 24 is a leader? How we can check 24 is a leader or not? We simply go, sorry, let 32 is being a leader. We should check to its right side. So in the right of 24, there is one element present, that is 32. And if the element on its right is smaller than 24, no, it is greater. So 24 can't be a leader because it is not the greatest element. Okay, now we have to check for the next element, which is 45. So 45 is the leader. So how we check? We simply check the rightmost element to its that the element present on its right, that is 24 and 32. If they are greater than 45, then we can't say it is a leader. And if both of them are smaller, then we can say 45 is the leader. And you can see from here that 45 is a leader because it is greater than 24 also and 32 also. We simply say that, oh, it is a leader here. Now we have to check for 36. Now, when we are checking for 36, so we have to check the three element because there are now three elements present in the right side of the 36. So we have to check that if any of the number on its right will be greater than 36, then we can say it is not a leader. But if we can't find any number which is greater than 36 on its right, then we can simply say, oh, 36 is a leader. So 36, we can simply say here 45, which is greater than 36. So 36 not a leader. Now 64 is a leader. We simply, you can see that all the element on its right of 64, that is four elements, all of them are smaller than 64. So 64 is a leader. So we simply add 64 in our answer. Now, is 66 a leader? Yes, 66 also a leader because all the elements to its rights will be smaller than 64. Sorry, 66. So 66 will be my leader. Now we have to check for the last element. Is 52 is my leader? We have to check all the elements to its right. No, we can see 66 is greater than 64, 52, 64 is greater than 52. So we simply say that 52 is not a leader. So here definition of the leader is given. And according to that, we find all the element in the array which are leaders and we simply write it here and add them. If you add them both, so 6 plus 4 will be 10 plus 5 will be 15 plus 2 will be 17. 1 will be remaining 6 plus 6 12 plus 4 16 plus 3 19 plus 1 20. So you can simply say my answer is coming as 207. And you can also say the output is also coming as 207. So I hope you understand this, that how actually the code is working or what I have to do actually in the problem. Now let's write the logic, or you can say pseudocode, that how actually we do it. Okay. So what we have been given, we have been given an array. Okay. Let's say element of the array. Let me write the same element 52, 66, okay, 64, 36, 45, 24, and 32. Okay. Now, now what we have to do? Again, come here and check. From there, we are going to check from right to left, because rightmost element, which is 32, or any number which is present in the right of the array, should always be the leader. Okay. Now, so I can get a sum variable where I store the answer, or sum, you can say answer. Initially, it is the rightmost element. The rightmost element is 32 because it should be my leader. Understood that? Now, what one thing I have to do here? So I have to, you can see there is two approach. Whenever you are at any number, you can check every number to its right and check that if any number is greater than it or not. And if any number is greater than the number that you are on to, then you can simply say that the number you are checking to be a leader is not a leader, because you find another number which is greater than this number and present in the right of it. So it should not be the greatest element of all its right element. But if you can't find any number in its right which is greater than that number, then you can simply say that that number is a leader. That thing we can do, but we have to find some better approach. Okay. So one thing you can see, I can use, okay, let me change the color. So what I can do, I create a, let's say, max val. Okay. It is a variable which contains the maximum element till now. What it means, if the number what we have checking, if it is greater than the maximum value among all of them, what I am telling you, let's understand this. So if I am checking for 64, okay, so in which range I have to check? In this range, and the maximum value in this range would be 45. So if 64 is greater than 45, then it is needed to check for the smaller element. No, because if element is greater than the highest number or highest value among whatever range you are checking, then it should be greater than all the value, all the remaining value, because all the remaining value will be smaller than that value, that highest value, and the new value you are checking is all above that, the highest value among all of them. So there is no need to check for the remaining element. So if we can say if 64 is greater than 45, then it is needed to check for 36 or 24 or 32. No, because it is obviously greater than 36, 24 and 32. And let's take one more case. Okay, it is 36. No, if we are checking for 36, then this range will be this. Okay, now here also in this range 45, 24 and 32, the maximum element would be 45. So I have to first compare 36 with 45, and you can see 36 is smaller than 45. So here also we can find one element which is greater than the number which we are checking. So if there is any need to check for another element, we can simply say from here that it is leader or not by simply comparing it with the maximum element of the rightmost range. Okay, so what actually max val will do or store the maximum element in the right range. Okay, rightmost range. Now initially, what will be my right max val? My max val will be obviously 32 because it is a leader and it is a maximum value in this range when we are checking for just this value. Now when we are checking for this value, when we are checking for this value, so what we have to do? We have to simply check that if our max val, if it is less than the number we are checking, let's say it is I, okay, let's say it's an array. So if it is less than array of I, then what does it mean? The maximum value whatever we have is smaller than the new value we found. That means we found a new greater value. That means that it is a leader. So if it is a leader, we have to add that value in our sum. Understood this? Now we have added. Now one more thing we have to do. We have to now change our max val to that number because we have find a new maximum value in the range. Okay. And if it is not the case, if it is not the case, then don't have to do anything. So now use this formula. I is initially here because I don't have to check I here because it is also always a ladder or sorry, leader. Now, when we are here, then what we have to do? We have to compare this formula. Our max value is currently 32. Okay, let me erase this using this. Our max value is 32 and our array of I is 24. So if 32 is less than 24, no, that means that the maximum value in the rightmost, that is currently 32, is greater than the value we are checking to be a leader or not. So if it is greater, the value we are checking is smaller than the maximum value, that means that it can't be a leader. So we simply move further, don't have to do anything. Now, when we come I to here, I will be now pointing to this. I will be removed from here and I will be pointing to this. Now the new range will become this and the maximum value in this range will be 32, which is currently I have stored. Now I again check this. Now my maximum value is 22 and I is this. So my array of I is 45. Now you can see the 45, which is the current value, is greater than the maximum value in this range, that is 32. That means that this value is greater than all the remaining value in this range. Understood? So it is a leader. And when 45 is a leader, what we have to do? We have to first add 45 to our sum. So 45 will be added here. And I have to change now my maximum value to 45 because I now get new maximum value, no? So I have to change my maximum value to 45. So this will be done there. So now my new maximum value will be 45. So now again, come here. Again, we have been checking for this range because when this will be checked, then this will be my range and maximum value in this range will be 45 because you can say I have updated it. Now again, I check 36 with 45. You can say, sorry, this will be 45 and 36. You can say it is not a correct statement because 45 is greater than 36. So nothing to do here, just move forward. Now again, this range will be considered for this when we are checking for this. Now you can see my maximum value in this range will be 45. You can see here. And the current value is 64 and 45 is obviously less than 64. So I have to again do the same operation that add that value that is to be leader in the sum and update that value in as a maximum value also. So 64 will be updated here. Now, when we are checking for this again, because this will be checked till now. So now the maximum value in this range will be 64. So now 66 is being checked with 64. And obviously 64 is less than 66. So again, I have to do the same. That add that value to my sum and update my maximum. So this will be now updated to 66. Now I will go to the last index because now this will be done. So this will come into my range for this element. Now in this range, the maximum value is coming as 66. So when we are comparing 52 with 66, so 66 is not less than 52. So it is false. So I don't have to do anything. And now when I increment one side left, then I come out of this array. So I have to stop it now. Now when I add this all, so my answer is coming as 207. And the time complexity which is actually been done here will be only big O of n because I am iterating this array of size n, let's say, only one time. Okay. And during my iteration from right to left, I will be updating my sum and max value according to this logic. Okay. So I hope you understand that what actually I am trying to tell you, the logic, the pseudocode. Now let's directly jump to the compiler and code it. But one thing just friends, that before moving to the coding part of this problem, I would like to show you one thing or get you the information. As you know that the Accenture had starting their hiring, and you know that they are visiting your campuses and there are many examinations that you have been in 1 week or 2 week or in recent times. Okay. So online study for you has bring you a great course to prepare for Accenture examination, which is Accenture crash course, where you have been additionally provided with 10 free mock test series. Okay. So what actually in this crash course is, so you can see that the overview of this crash course, you have been provided all the topics that you have been required to clear this exam with very good marks. Okay. You can see the reasoning video is being provided you completely, pseudo code that is being asked, MS Office question, cloud and network security question, verbal ability question, coding question also is being provided because there are many. I am just making this video on this YouTube, but there are more such problem, 20, 30 problem that is asked recently in Accenture coding problem is being also provided there with full solution. Okay. And in addition to that, you will be provided all the 10 mock test series, which will help you to prepare or access your preparation that in this topic you will have to prepare more. Now, let me show you the content of this problem also. You can see here, you have been provided all this video. You can see in the reasoning video, you have been provided 15 videos, verbal 7 video, coding, you can see 22 video of codes, 21 videos, and we are adding some recent problem also. Okay. Which is which has been asked in recently examination. This will be added there also. And if I can show you the reasoning video, you can see the length of the video is also of 1 hour. You can see coding decoding of 1 hour 10 minutes, so length is also sufficient. And in that video also some previous year question is being discussed there. Okay. So I recommend you to get this course. If you are preparing for Accenture, then this course will be very much helpful for you. And you can see the price is also a merely less price. 500 is nothing for uh, a course to be purchased. Okay. So I recommend you to check out this course once. Okay. Now let's directly move to the coding problem. Okay. Now, this is a compiler which I am coding. So I am coding it currently in C++. Don't worry, I will be showing you the Java code of this same also. So initially what I have to do, I have to take an array as input. Okay. Int array. So here I am getting my input array. Okay, let me get it. Now, for int I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. This will be done. And so my inputting of array is being done. Now the logic part comes. So what the logic part? First, I have to declare a sum, which is equal to initially the array of n minus 1. But one thing what I have to check, because in the question it is written, if my array is empty, then I have to return -1. So that case I have also have to check. So first I have to check that if the size of array is equal to 0, there, that is there is no element present in the array. So I simply have to print -1. Okay. Understood this? Now, if it is not the case, if size is not 0, then I go to the else part. And in the else part, what I have to do? First, because the last rightmost element, that is n minus 1 index element, will always be leader. So I include it to my sum whenever I declaring, and I'd also declare a max val where I will be doing the maximum value in that range operation. Okay. So now I will be getting here also the last element, that is the rightmost element of the array. Now this is being done from my side. Now what I have to do, from where to where I have to run. Okay, come here. So I have, because this position is not being checked, so I have to check from this position. So if this is n minus 1 index, so I have to check from n minus 2 index till the 0th index. So I am moving from right to left in the for loop. Now come here. So for int I equal to n minus 2, I is greater than equal to 0 and I minus minus. Understood this? Now what I have to do here? So I have to compare first that if my max val is less than the current value of I, then if it is the case, then I found a new leader. I add it to my sum. Okay. And after adding, I also have to update my max val to that value. Okay. Now this is the simple operation. And if it is not, let's say you can't find the number. Okay. Then what we have to do? Simply don't do anything because that number you are checking is not be a leader. So don't have to do anything. Just move forward to check the next element of the array. Okay. Now this is being checked. Now after coming out of this loop, I simply have to do nothing. Just print the sum what I have got. Okay. Understood this? I hope you understood. Now let me run this for you. Okay. 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 I have to check for the some other test cases. So now you can see. Okay. Okay, now I've taken the same input as been given in the test case to show you the output as coming as correct. You can see the 207, the correct output is coming here. So I hope you understand this code of C++ that I have written, because I have already tell you whole logic why I am writing this code for you. Okay. Now let's directly jump to the Java code that I have already written for you. So this is the Java code of the same. Okay. Okay. This is not the Java code. So now you can see Java code of the same problem. So here you can see the same thing has been written, that I have comparing initially max value and sum will be assigned. Okay. Sum will be max value. The same thing will be done. And after doing this, I will simply printing my value here. So this is the same code. Now let me run this code for you. So just let me copy paste the same input. Okay. Control C. And now come here, print it here. Now let me run this. So you can see it is running very fine. Same output is coming. So this is the correct output. Okay. So this is the first problem that has been asked in Accenture examination. Now we will move to the second question. Okay. So now the second problem that has been asked is this. You can see the problem statement is written as the minimum number of integer. Okay. Now the problem statement given me that we have, okay, 1 second. Okay, now we have been given a function that is minimum number of integer, and here the argument is passed as array and x and y. Now the definition of all of them is written below, that the function accept an integer array ARR. So ARR is basically a array of integers of length n, so n will be its length, integer x and integer y as its argument. So integer x and integer y are some random values of integer type. Okay. Now implement the function to count the minimum number of integer present between x and y in the given array and return the same. Okay. So what we have to do, we have to count the minimum number of integer written between x and y, okay, in the array. Now, assumption is given array size always greater than 1. That means array size is either 2 or greater than 2. Okay. The value of x and y are distinct. So x and y can't be same value. X and y should be a distinct value. Now, if x and y or both are not present in the given array, then you simply return -1. So either x is not present or y is not present or both of them are not present. Then we simply return -1 because then we don't able to find the number of element between them. Okay. So here the input example is given. X value is given as 3, y is given as 6, and the array is given as this. So let's find out. Okay. So now come here. So my array is given as 10, 3, 2, 4, 5, 6, 9, 7, and 3. Okay, okay, come. So now if you can see here clearly that x is 3 and y is 6. So I have to find the minimum number value between x and y. So the where is my first I have to find, is there a first occurrence of 3 and 6? 3 is coming here and 6 is coming here first. So the element between 3 and 6 will be this. So 3 elements are there. So currently we are getting 3 elements. Now we again have to check, is there any other occurrence of 3 or 6? We can see here, oh, 3 is occurred here also. So now here is 6, here is 3. So what are the element between 3 and 6? That is 2. Here the 3 element is between 2 and 6, and here only 2 element are between 3 and 6. So what I have to do, I have to return the minimum number of integer present between x and y. So the minimum number present according to this array is 2. Simply we can say the 2 is being outputted. So this is the case. I hope you understand that what actually problem wants to tell you. Now, how we actually do that, we will see it. Okay. But I hope you understand that what actually problem statement wants to tell you. Now, come here, come down here. Let me write one more thing. Let's say this will be okay. Or you can say same output 10, 3, 2, 4, 5, 6, 9, 7, 3. So this is my array and x is 3 and y is 6. So let me first index all the arrays. So this will be at index 0. This will index 1, 2, 3 and so on. Okay. Now, how you actually solve this problem? So first we are going to discuss about the brute force way. Then we will try to optimize it. Okay. But first try to learn the brute force way. That how actually you think if you see the problem first, that you have to find all the indices of x and y. Okay. That in which indexes x is occurring and which indexes y are occurring. And why we have to find? Let's see. Here x is occurring in which index? You can see x is currently 3. So 3 is occurring at 1 and 3 is occurring at 8. So x is occurring at index 1 and index 8. Now, if I have to check for the same for y, which is currently 6. So 6 is occurring only once, that is at index 5. Now, what I have to do now? I got the indexes and I got the values. So I have to check x will x and y will make pair with this also and this also, because these are two range. 1 to 5 will be a range and 5 to 8 will be a range. Okay. Now I have to find the minimum of both the range. So in this range, you can see the minimum value is 5, because how you can find the value between them? 5 minus 1 will give you 4, and when you also minus it 1, so 2 index minus 1 will get you the number between them. Okay. So you can see 5 minus 1, because 5 is the index, this index, 1 is this index, and after minusing this with 1, you can see there are 3 elements present between them. And now the same case goes with the 5 and 8. So 8 minus 5 minus 1. Okay. And this will get you 2. So you have to get the minimum of both of the cases possible. And how you get these two cases possible? Let's one more case. Let's assume if X is an element which occur at 1, 3, 7, Y occur as 2, 5. Now, what are all the combination possible of ranges? So one can go with 2, one can go with 5. Okay, 3 can go with 2, 3 can go with 5 because they also form a range. Okay, now, so 7 can form a range with 5 and 7 can form a range with 2. And I have to take the minimum of all of them. Whatever the minimum will be, you get by all of the range, the element between all of them will get you the correct answer. Understood this? So you see how actually we get all the ranges by using the nested for loop concept. Okay. Now, what actually we will do after finding? We'll simply write for int I equal to 0 till I is less than the number of element in X. Let's say X will be an array, X dot size. Okay. And I plus plus will be done from my side. And again, I have to do for int j equal to 0 and j less than y dot size and j plus plus. So this will simply get me what? This will simply get me the all the possible combination in the array. Okay, because you can see I have to take 1 with 2, 3 with 2, 7 with 2, again 1 with 5, 3 with 5, and 7 with 5. Understood this? So this is the first thing. That's why we have to get the all the indexes of element, that where the x is occurring and where the y is occurring, and we can simply store them in any array. Okay, because array can store the indexes of occurrence of x, a separate array for x and separate array for y. This we can do simply. Now, after doing that, what we have to do? We have to run this loop, nested loop for every index of x. We have to check for the combination of every index of y. That is being done. Simply the for loop concept. Okay. Now, what actually now we have to do? We got all the ranges, so we have to compare the maximum. Sorry, we have to get the minimum value possible. Okay. So to get the minimum value possible, we have to first create a, let's say, answer variable which actually have or which actually store the minimum possible value. So whenever we are declaring any value which will get me the minimum possible value, then I have to sure and sure initialize it to the maximum possible value. Okay, int max. Okay, because then only I compare it with, because I want it to be a minimum, then I first compare it with the maximum values. Now I actually comparing it with the maximum. So what I actually have to do inside this for loop, I have to write that if how actually I find the total number of element in the array. Okay, let's say the array is named as v of x or v of y. Okay, because x and y is already been taken, so I can't take the same name. So let's say that I can take the name as vx and vi. Okay, so vx dot size and less than vy dot size. So now inside here, what I'm going to do actually, I simply check if v of absolute, why I'm checking the absolute, I'm using the function name as absolute, because let's say is 7 or 2 or 7 will have to get me the same number. Okay, how actually I find the number of element between indexes 7 and 2? So between 7 and 2 the index will be 6, 5, 4, 3. So there are 4 index possible. So if anyone asks me that how many total number of element possible between 7 and 2 or index 7 and index 2, you can simply say 4. Now how actually you get that? 4 minus 7 minus 2 will get you 5, and after that you subtract it by 1 will get you 4. Now let's say if anyone asks you the same for the 2, get me the number between 2 and 7, then you do the same. 2 minus 7 minus 1, but 2 minus 7 will get you what? It will get you the negative number. So to overcome this, because 2 minus 7 will get you minus 5, but there is no negative number of element present between any two number. Okay, so you simply do a function name as abs. What abs do? or in Java, you can use math.abs. Both are the same. If you can say abs of -5, it will get you 5. So it will actually done as this modulo thing. That understood? So whatever get out of it come as a positive integer. Rather it is a negative or positive, it will always come out as positive. So I hope you understand what actually I want to tell you. Now, so here that thing what I am going to do. I am going to do here abs of v of x. Let's say anything, because now I use the abs, so I don't have to worry about the greatest value first or the smallest value first. I simply add vx of I, because I index is iterating over vx, minus vy of j, and above all them there is also a -1. Understood now? Okay. If all of them is greater than, if all of them is greater than the value which I have now, that is, you can see here, is, sorry, it's less than, because I have to find the minimum, is less than answer, which actually conclude my minimum possible value. Then what I have to do, I have go and update, because now I find a new minimum value. In the previous question, what I have to do, I have to find the new maximum value. So whenever I find the new maximum, I update that. But here I have to find the minimum possible value. So I have checking in the minimum case. So whenever I got the new minimum value, then what I have already have. So I simply update it to my answer, that v of x of I minus v of y of j minus 1, or sorry, absolute of this will get me my value. Okay. So now I got the new minimum value. And again, I check for this all the possible combination, and within all the possible combination, whatever the minimum possible combination that we get is being our answer. So let's try run this code for the our code problem. Okay. So our problem is this, and in this we can see the occurrence of x is 1 and 8, and occurrence of y is 5. That is, occurrence of 3 is 1 and 8, and occurrence of 6 is 5. That is the index where it occurs. So I get the same. So let's say if I store v of x will be occurrence of x, and it will have value 3 and, okay, let me see, 3, 1, sorry, 1 and 8. My mistake. So 1 and 8. And the v of y will actually have value only 5. So now what I am doing here, according to the problem, you can see, okay, let me just minimize it further. First, I am going I equal to 0 to v dot vx dot size. So what is vx dot size? It is actually 2. So I should be less than 2. So initially I is 0. So I is 0 means this value. Okay, because this is the first index. So I will be pointing here. Okay, let me point the I to here. So I will be pointing here. Now answer is currently int max. I hope you understand. Now for I here, I am running a j loop, and j is initially 0 and j is less than vy dot size. So there is only one element in vy. So here only j is less than 1 actually. Okay. So now initially j is 0. So j is here, pointing to 0 element obviously. Now what I have to do? I go inside the for loop, and here one condition written, that if absolute of my vx of I, and vx of I is 1, minus absolute of 1 minus vy of j, and vy of j is 5. Okay, this is the range, minus 1. If all of them are less than our answer, and my current answer is int max. So obviously int max is the maximum value in the integer range, and the value coming as here is absolute of 1 minus 5 would be -4, and absolute will change it to 4, and 4 minus 1 will get me 3. Okay, so 3, the whole value will coming as 3. 3 is less than answer obviously, because now currently my answer is int max. So I have to change my answer to 3, because I got a new value which is a smaller value. Now what I have to do? I have to increment the j plus plus. Now when j will be incremented, because there is single element present, so j will be go outside of this array. So I have to stop my operation here. Again, go back to this for loop. Now, when I go back to this for loop, now this for loop again increment himself because I have get to him after doing my all operation. So now I will be incremented one. So when I will be incremented one, so now I will be pointed to this. Now I will be pointing to 8. And we again, for I pointing to 8, I again run this for loop because it is a nested loop. So for every time of this loop, it will run once. Okay. Now, for whenever again I coming here, so J will again point to here. Okay, initialize. Now again I have to do the same, that Vx of I. So my current Vx of I, let me write it. So Vx of I is 8. So absolute of 8 minus Vy of j is same as 5 minus of 1. If it is again less than my answer, so my answer is currently 3. And you can see 8 minus 5 will get me 3, and absolute of positive number will do nothing, just written on the same. 3 minus 1 will get me 2. So that means two elements are present between them. And if it is less than my current answer, yes, because my current answer is 3. So I got a new minimum value, which is even less than that value. So I simply update that value. So my answer is now 2. So now I again, what I have to do after doing that, I again have to increment my j. So again, I increment j, it again go out of the loop. So I again go back to this for loop. Now, when again this I will get incremented. So again, this I also go outside of this Vx of array. So that means that we again go out of the condition of the first for loop. So I stop my operation here. That means I check for all the possible combination. And currently, whatever the value is storing in my answer will be my answer. So currently the storing value will be my 2. So the answer will also return me as 2. And you can see also the correct output is coming also as 2 here. Understood this? So this is the brute force approach. Now, if I have to analyze the time complexity, so you can see I have run the nested loop here. So in the worst case, it will go might to n square complexity. Okay, which is which is you can able to run this problem in the examination, because I have talked to some of the students that have been given this problem examination, that this n square combination code is working fine in this examination. But if you have to optimize it, or in some other examination this problem is been asked and some of your test case might be falling due to the time limit exceed problem, then how you overcome that, we will be discussing that also, that how to optimize this problem. But first, let me uh, go to take you the show you that code of this problem, that which I have written in C++ and Java both. Okay, so let's come here and see the problem. You can see, so here what I have done, I do not return the code again because I have already explained you this in very detail. So I don't want to get that value very lengthy. Okay, you can see I have taken the input of array. Okay, this is being taken as input. Now this is the integer of x. Here x and y is being taken as my inputs, that are the two distinct values that in which range I have to find. Now I initialize integer as int max, because I have to tell you that whenever we are declaring any variable where we will have to store the minimum possible value, then I have to initialize this to the maximum possible value, that is int max in the range of int. Okay. Now, here I am initializing two vectors. Vector is a form of array, a container. I have already made a video on how what is vector, what is STL. And if you are familiar with Java, then I will show you the Java code as well. So anyone who is doing their code in Java, they simply understand that vector is nothing but an array list. Okay. Now, it is work same as the array, just I don't have to declare its size first. It is a dynamic allocation of the array. Okay. So don't worry about that. Just understand this. So I have declared two, v of x and v of y, which will actually store, v of x will store number of occurrence of integer x. Okay. Indexes that where x will be occurring, and v of vy will actually store the indexes where y is occurring. So here what I have done, I have stored the indexes. And how I store, I iterate through the array, and whenever an array element is equal to x, that means that element is x, then I store the index of that in my array. So I simply store it. Okay, simply by pushback operation it will be stored. Now whenever the value is y, so I do the same, store that index in my vy vector. And now I have to check for one case, that if any of them size are 0, that means that any of X or Y or both are absent, I simply return -1. That means that we can't find any value in that range because the value is not present in this range to find the range. Now, if it is not the case, then we go to the else part. And in the else part, I have written the same logic that I have run the for loop. I have done the same thing that I have showed you. Okay, this is the same. Understood? Just one thing. This is absolute. And now this is not needed. Okay. And this is also because first I have to find the absolute. Then, and after doing this, I will simply printing my output. So now you can see here. Okay. My code is. Oh, okay. You can see I have run for the two test cases. Okay. You can see my output is coming as 2 in this test case. And in this test case, my coming output is coming as 1 because 1 is the correct output. You can see the 3 and 2, right? The element between 3 and 2 is 5, which is the smallest element present between them. Okay. So this is all about this approach of the problem. Okay. Now let me show you the Java code of the same approach to you also. So this is the Java code of the same. Let me expand it. Now you can see here, you can see I have using the array list instead of vector because it is the same thing. Now, answer will be initialized to integer dot max value. The same thing will be done here. Okay. The same approach is being followed here also. That is the same. Now, let me run this code for you. Okay. So you can see I have using the same input. Okay. So you can better understand. You can see the output is coming also as same. That is 2. So this is the correct running code. So this approach is very fine and it will be running in the examination also. But if I have to optimize it further, then what I have to do? So let me first write the array first. Okay. So the array is been 3, 2, 10, 3, 2. Okay. 10, 3, 2, 4. And the next value is 5, 6, 9, 7, 3. 5, 6, 9, 7, 3. 5, 6, 9, 7, 3. Okay. And the value of x is 3 and value of y is 9, 6. Sorry. 6. Okay. Okay. Now this is fine from my side. Now, how actually I optimize it? So there is one concept that you have to know or you can see it by simply showing it. Let me first write the index of it so you can observe that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. One thing you have to see. Let's say my 3 is occurred here and my first occurrence of 6 is here. Understood this? 3 is first occurred here and 6 is first occurred here. Now, whenever there is first occurrence of any of the number, okay, then we have to check that if the other number is also occurred or not. If it is also occurred, then we simply check the range. So what I am telling you, just try to understand it, okay? Or I will be showing you one more example to understand it in better way, but try to understand it here. That the occurrence of 3 is this. Let's say I call the occurrence of 3 is like occurrence of x. Let's say I say ox. Occurrence of x will currently hold the index where x is being occurred, and O of y will hold the indexes there where y will occur. Initially, both of them are initialized to -1. That means that none of them are occurred till now. So my x is 3 and my y is 6. So now you can see, I go here. If this value is equal to 3 or 6, any of them value is equal to this? No. So this is not the value which we are looking for. But when we are coming here, so we can see, oh, it is equal to the x value. That means the x has occurred. Now what we have to do? We have to change this -1 to the occurrence of the value of x. Now, when x has occurred, now we have to check if y is also occurred or not. If y is occurred, then we have to check the range. And if it is not occurred, then we have to check the y value. And how actually we decide if y is occurred or not? We simply go and check if our O of y is equal to -1 or not. If our O of y is equal to -1, that means that it is not been occurred. Because if it is been occurred previously, then it should be updated. But if it is not updated, then we have to do nothing. But if it is not equal to -1, that means that it is being updated previously. So now what we have to do? we have to also conclude the integer answer as int max. Okay, this is the same thing we have to do every time. Now we have to check if our O of x minus O of y, absolute of them, minus 1, if it is less than the answer, then we have to update it in our answer. And if it is not the case, then we don't have to do anything here. Okay. So when we are updating our 3 here, then we are checking that if our y is being updated or, okay, just once. If our y is being updated or not. So, okay, where is my cursor? Now, so our y is not being updated yet. Okay. Okay, what is happening here? Let me pause this. So now, where we were? Okay. So we are checking here. So when we are updating, let's see it here. Okay. When we are updating 3, so first we have to check if y is also been updated or not, or if y is assigned any value or not, or found or not. We simply see if y is being equal to 1, minus 1 or not. So here in this case, y is equal to minus 1. That means that y is not being found yet. And you can also see why it's not found in this range. So we don't have to do anything because y is not being found. So how you can update? Now, I again go to this value. If 2 is equal to any of x or y, no. So go to 4. If 4 is equal to any of them, no. Go to 5. If 5 is equal to any of them, no. Now go to 6. Is 6 is equal to any of x or y? Yes, 6 is equal to y. So now I have to do what? I have to update my y to the index of occurrence of 6, that is 5. And after updating it, now what I have to do? I have to go and check if x is already being occurred or not. And how I will check? Same condition of x also. If ox is equal to minus 1, don't do anything. And if ox is not equal to minus 1, that means that it is updated. And when I go and check O of x is equal to minus 1 or not, then I see simply what? That oh, it is. So when I go and check that, oh, our O of x is not equal to minus 1. That means that it is being updated. And you can see also it is being updated. So what I have to do, I have to go and operate this. If both of them are not equal to minus 1 and I have found any new value which any one of them has been updated. So what I will do, I will simply go and write 1 minus 5 absolute of them. Okay, let me change the pen. Absolute of 1 minus 5 minus 1. That get me 4 minus 1, that with 3. If it is less than my answer, so my current answer is int max. Yes, it is less than. So my answer will become now 3. Now, after updating, I again go to check the next value. So now my next value is, okay. So now my next value is 9. It is not equal to any of x and y. So don't have to do anything. Go further. 7. If it is equal to any x or y, no. So I go further than 3. Yes, now 3 is equal to this x. So now I find a new index of x. What I have to do? Again, update that. Okay, update index of x. So now the new index of x is 8. Now x been updated. Now what I have to do? I have to check if y is also being found or not till now. And how I check? Simply by this condition that if O of y is minus 1, that means that it is not being found yet. And if O of y is not minus 1, then it is being found somewhere. So I have to do the same. Same, go to the function, write the same, that 8 minus 5 minus 1, which will ultimately get me 2. If 2 is less than answer, yes. So I go and update this. So now my new answer will become 2. Now when I again increment my value, so I go outside of the array and I simply stop it here. So you can see the same thing I have done. Whenever I find new value, I will simply check if the other value or the other range is also being found or not. And if it is found, then we get the all the element between them and compare it with the already answer that we have. Okay. And if it is smaller, then we simply update our answer. And if it is not, then we simply go to check for other cases. And you can simply see the time complexity which is required to solve this problem is simply big O of n. Why big O of n? Because I am visiting every index only once. And in the one iteration of all the element of the array, I simply found my answer. So this is a more efficient approach that you have to try. Okay. So now let me write the code for it once. Okay. Let's go here. Let's go to same compiler. Okay. Now, so here what I have to do, the same input is being the same. I don't have to change anything from here also. Just get it here. Now what I have to do now, first the condition will be that if, okay, and answer equal to int max. Now let me get a two variable. Let's say O of x will get me the index of occurrence of x, and int of O of y will get me the index of occurrence of y. Understood? Now I have to iterate over the array for int I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. Okay, that's fine. Now I have to check that if the current element of the array, if it is equal to x, if it is equal to x, then we find a new x. What I have to do, simply do O of x equal to I, because update the occurrence of x to I. Now I have to check one more thing, that if O of y is not equal to -1, that means that O of y is being found. Okay. Then I have to do, because if it is equal to -1, then don't have to do anything, because y is not being found yet. But if O of y is not equal to -1, that means O of y is being found. So I have to check the same, that if absolute of O of y minus O of x -1, if it is less than my answer, then I simply go and update my answer to absolute of O of y minus O of x minus 1. And if it is not, then don't do have to anything. Just go for check for next. Now I have to do the same for, if this is the case when I found x. Now I have to do the same when I found y. So when I found y, so what I will do, I will update my O of y to I, and I have to check if O of x is being found or not. If it is being found, that means if it is not equal to -1, then I have to do the same, that if absolute of O of y minus O of x minus 1, if it is less than my answer, then I simply go and update my answer. Okay. Absolute of O of y minus O of x, and then minus of 1. So this is the simple case. Understood? And now this will do the all the case that I want. And after coming out of this for loop, I got my answer. Now one thing I have to check, that when my answer will return -1, when I don't find O of x or O of y. So I simply write if my O of x is equal to -1, or my O of y is equal to -1. That means that I have run through entire the array and I can't find any in the occurrence of x or y. Then only my O of x and O of y is not being updated. And then only it will be initialized to the initial value that I have initialized to them. So this is the only case where I can say I can't find O of x or O of y or any of them. Okay, so I simply returns -1 from here. And if it is not the case, if I find occurrence of O of x and O of y, then surely I got my answer. So I simply go and, sorry, else case, else I will return my answer. Okay, answer will be returned here. This is the simple case. Okay, and return 0. So now let me run this for you. Okay, something mistake is, okay. I have written it outside. Okay, don't need to do it. You can see the same output is been coming, but the previous approach will get you the vast cache time complexity of n square, but this test code will only get you your answer in the time complexity of big O of n. So this is a better approach. Okay. Now I hope you understand that how to solve this problem, how to think of the approach when you get this kind of problem in your examination. So now, before ending this video, I would like to request you to subscribe this channel if you haven't already, and like this video if you get some information from me, and comment down if you want more such videos from my side. Okay. So thanks for coming. We will meeting in some other videos.